We all want to feel better, more peaceful, more alive, more at ease. But what if the real freedom isn't just in feeling better, but in becoming better at feeling? Beneath every desire is something deeper and more profound. The longing to actually feel fully, to connect, to no longer be disturbed by thoughts, emotions, people, and circumstances. And not just skimming the surface of our emotions and thoughts and constantly reacting, but actually opening ourselves to the whole range of life. The joy, the ache, the tenderness, the fire, without needing to shut down or defend. That kind of openness may feel scary if we think we're just this body, memory, identity. But in truth, openness is what makes life rich, meaningful, genuine, authentic, playful. Have you ever noticed how much energy we spend trying not to feel? And some of you may say, but I feel everything. But then why do you still feel stuck? Because truly feeling isn't about collecting emotions, fighting them, resisting them, and carrying them around like a badge. It's about letting them move through. It's called flow. The bodhisattva can feel the suffering of the world without being crushed by it because they don't identify with it, because they know it's an illusion. That's trust. That's the kind of capacity we're talking about here. To feel fully without clinging, without drowning, without turning it into identity. And yet, most of us unconsciously do the opposite. We distract ourselves, we numb ourselves, we try to manage, fix, blame, scroll, anything but actually be with what's arising. And here's the catch. We think the goal is simply to feel better, but the real freedom comes when we get better at feeling, growing our capacity for connection, for genuine connection, to actually embrace the full spectrum of life instead of shrinking from it. So think about it. The reason most people never apply for their dream job, they don't take chances, isn't because the risk is too big, but because they fear the feeling of failure. And the moment that feeling of rejection arises, they interpret it as proof they have failed. The reason many hold back from going the extra mile isn't because they lack talent or drive, but because they fear the sting of rejection or abandonment. And when that emotion comes, they instantly associate it with something being wrong with them. And here's the raw truth. The very walls we built to protect ourselves from those emotions, like sadness, anger, abandonment, grief, are the same walls that keep us small, restricted, cut off from life. They don't just block and reinforce pain. They block love, joy, connection, possibility. And unless we're willing to feel what's on the other side of those walls, we'll keep living in a self-made prison that looks like safety, but feels like limitation. Most of the time when we say we're feeling something, like stress, anger, frustration, we're actually talking about emotions. These are recycled reactions tied to memory and past experiences and the meaning we give to them. They loop, they repeat until they start to feel like a part of our identity. So repeated anger becomes, I'm an angry person. Repeated anxiety becomes, there's something wrong with me. Being dismissed turns into, they're at fault, which hides an even deeper belief. I'm a victim. I'm at the mercy of others. I need someone out there to fix how I feel. Real feeling is different. And here I'm using the word feeling to actually mean openness, the capacity to let energy move through without judgment or defense and without turning it into who we think we are. It's fresh, it's alive, it's awareness, it's childlike, it's spontaneous, playful, and it doesn't cling or need anything to change. And that's how strong, timeless, and eternal it is. So a simple way to picture it is, emotions are like the surface waves. They're familiar, they're choppy. Real feeling is the depth beneath. It's not always obvious, but it's still, it's steady, and it holds it all without defense. Emotions are really just body sensations. Memory showing up as chemistry. Sadness has a certain chemistry. Anger, frustration, grief, they all have a certain chemistry in our body. And they all begin as signals. What makes them feel heavy is the meaning that we attach to them. Here's what you need to observe. We don't actually fear the raw sensations themselves. A tight chest, a lump in the throat, a drop in the stomach, on their own, they're manageable. But the moment the mind calls it my anxiety or the belief there's something wrong with me, I'm lacking, then it feels like a threat. Think of a hypochondriac who feels an itch and calls it cancer. The sensation hasn't changed, but the meaning has. One person shrugs it off, another spirals into endless catastrophizing. It's not the sensation, it's the story, the belief that's glued onto it. So when the emotion of sadness arises, we make it mean I'm weak. When anger arises, suddenly this means I'm broken, unlovable. When anxiety comes, oh, this proves I cannot handle life. And that is the ego's trick. That's the replay of memory. It makes everything about me. And those beliefs hide in the shadows until we notice them. So the practice is to see them, own them, clean them, forgive them. And that's the heart of Ho'oponopono. Acknowledgement, responsibility, and then feeling it through letting the projection and meaning dissolve. And then handing it over to the divine. We don't walk around saying, I'm incomplete, or I'm broken, or I'm lacking. But if we are reactive and disturbed, something unconscious is at play. And the hidden belief is usually, if I feel this fully, then I must be it. That couldn't be further from the truth. That lie, that illusion keeps us stuck in wounded reactions, making ourselves wrong or making others wrong, or having those emotions. These judgments keep the illusion of separation and this body, memory, identity alive that has to continuously defend itself. The deeper fear and belief is that feeling fully will make us lose control. And that fear creates resistance, and resistance creates the fear of fear itself, the sensation. But the sensations, when seen and felt without the story, are actually far more manageable than we think. So here's how the ego keeps us trapped. A sensation arises in the body. The mind instantly overlays a memory, a story. I'm not enough. I'm not safe. I'm not worthy. I'm lacking love, control, and security. And to cope with that pain, we try to look outward for a fix. We try to change others. We make them responsible. We cling to outcomes. We have expectations. And the moment we attach, the pain deepens because the attachment, the neediness is the pain. Your body reacts again to the story, more tension, more fear, more chemistry. And because it doesn't feel good, the survival moves kick in. Avoidance, numbing, blaming, distracting, controlling. It's all very complicated. Anything but actually meeting the emotion with connection. These survival moves reinforce the original belief that the feeling itself is dangerous, the emotion itself. So round and round it goes. A simple sensation snowballs into a full-blown identity. I'm anxious. I'm the rejected one. I'm the broken one. They're at fault. And the ego builds its house of cards on these loops. Notice, this is exhausting. It takes enormous energy to keep defending, to resist, to judge, to keep running, to keep proving, hiding, justifying why you're angry. And that's why life can feel like survival instead of living. Spirit is free, it's spontaneous, it's fluid. Ego is entangled in its own circuitry of memories, forever recycling the past, keeping mental ledgers of you did this to me, forever turning these emotions and signals into threats. And until we can see the loop for what it is, we mistake the prison for protection. And so the cycle repeats. Self-sabotage, not because of the raw sensations themselves, but because of the story, the belief, the meaning, and the defenses that's wrapped around it. We all have a lifelong habit of mentally running from pain, but each memory has a counter truth. For example, you have a memory, it's too painful, I cannot handle it. The truth is, pain passes and I remain. Here's another one. If I open to this, it will never end. The truth is, everything comes and goes and I remain, I stay. Here's another one. If I feel this, it will break me. The truth is, feeling doesn't break you, but the resistance reinforces the suffering. I need to fix it first. Nothing needs fixing before being felt. Here's a belief. Other people will see me as weak. Openness is strength, not weakness. True openness is invulnerability. It is the sense that you cannot be disturbed. Here's another. This proves I'm broken. The truth is, emotions are human, not proof of brokenness. Every one of these defenses is really a defense against love, against openness, against simply being present with life. So here's the power of staying open. When you can pause, breathe, and notice. There's fear here, there's anger, here is grief. There is no need to pile a story on top. And when you don't judge it, the energy moves, the emotions dissolve. When you don't build walls around emotions, they soften, because openness itself is what heals. And what remains is presence, clarity, compassion. And this is the deeper capacity to feel, not resisting, not fixing, not running, just staying open. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it hurts, because the sensation itself is never as overwhelming as the story, the belief that we tell about it. What liberates us is an escape, it's openness. In Chinese, the word for happiness is kai xing, which literally means open heart. So when you can meet the emotions of sadness this way, you realize you're not the emotion. It has no power over you, which means no one, no thing outside has power over you either. And as you go deeper, you see there is no other. That's the appearance, the trick, all smoke and mirrors. Reality is one, not two, and everyone is yourself pushed out. And for those struggling in relationships, family, or even facing conflict in the world, I know this can sound harsh, but when you can really contemplate and see the mechanics of your own experience and own it as yours, that's the game changer. That's the end of suffering, because then there is no limit to what is possible. Those who can feel deeply without fear, without defense, are called bodhisattvas. They feel the suffering of the world fully, not to drown in it, but to offer compassion. Because the natural response to suffering is to relieve it. So this is the path of yoga, of Ho'oponopono, to bring love where fear has closed the door. And in feeling fully and letting go, karmic entanglements start to dissolve. The memories start to lose the intensity, resentments loosen, and the heart returns to unity. And you discover that you're not fragile, but invulnerable, spacious enough to hold anything. You are that life force that can move through anything. So don't aim just to feel better. Forgive, clean, that's the bridge to grow your capacity to feel. And that's where healing lives, that's where freedom lives. The next time fear, grief, or anger arises, pause. Ask yourself, what am I believing this means about me? Stay open. Don't get entangled in the memory, the story. Just for a breath longer, just for a moment more. Sit with it completely, even if you're alone, especially if you're alone. You may discover the fear was never about the feeling itself or the emotion, but the story you've attached to it. And when that story dissolves, what remains is love. What remains is you, free, zero. I love you.